Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up with you.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, and we're here doing it once again, creating new content and bringing it to you here on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Coming at you live from where it all started. Right here at the Asian Sensation Studios, right here, not far from Washington, D.C. And I'm really shocked that I actually was able to come over here. You know, I just felt really nostalgic, and I really felt like, man, you know, it would be great if we could go ahead and record here again. Not on a permanent basis, but more like, hey, if we can do an episode here, then I think it would be cool. Luckily for me, we hit the jackpot on it. Now, I know previously at one past episode, we were able to do a recording and to do an episode there, but I kind of thought in my mind that was probably going to be it. I didn't know whether or not that we were able to, you know, go down that rabbit hole again and to see that maybe somewhere in the future down the line that we could record another episode again. I almost felt like it was damn near impossible. But we were able to have access. I'm really glad that we were able to have access. And I think in some future episodes, we will be able to record here again for a limited time engagement. So just let you guys know that, you know, we're not coming back to where it all started in the Asian Sensation Studios. That is not the case. But because of the fact that we do have this place a little bit for a limited time, period, if you will, I'm okay with it. And and it's so weird because, and it's cool at the same time, you know, I stepped through the building. And, you know, I kind of felt, you know, the spirit of years ago when we, you know, first started. The Asian Sensation Studio was ever, you know, the home, forever the home. It was all that we knew because it was where, you know, the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience was born and conceived, which was right here. And I'm sitting right over here, in the area that used to be the main recording area, which we called the media room. And it's, you know, it's taken me back, man. The nostalgia is wonderful. I mean, I'm not going to get teary-eyed over it, I can tell you that right now, but it definitely brings a good smile to my face. And my gosh, you know, structurally, the Asian Sensation Studio has not changed. You know, obviously there are some things now that, you know, the rooms are a little bit different now for obvious reasons, but that's okay. And it's wonderful to be here. I'm excited to record, and, you know, we're going to do it because that is what we do here at the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. We, you know, record and create episodes. We have a good time. We come in with the cool attitude and the positive attitude, just because that's the way that we deal with things. You know, we come in with a good attitude, and we come in with an open heart and a smile on our face, and we believe that, you know, when we are here and when we're out here creating and doing our thing, we're just here to have a good time, and we want to share that good time with you, you know. And if anybody else feels the same way, like, wow, you know, I'm feeling, you know, the same way of, like, the fact that, you know, they're feeling good and they're happy, and because we hear it and we feel it, yeah, absolutely. We want to go that same route too, just because that type of energy, that type of feeling, it's just awesome. It's very infectious. And my goodness, I gotta say thank you to all of those that give us a lot of love and support, and who continues to give us a lot of love and support. We are recording as of right now on the 13th of May. Lots have happened. A while ago, I'd made a bonus episode talking about a dog that I was fostering in Sassy the Dog. Sassy is a 1-year an American Staffordshire Bull Terrier, a female. And if for anybody that remembers that mini episode who tapped in, the story. But long story short, I'd fostered her from an elderly couple that are good friends with my godparents. Now, I don't know them specifically, but I can tell, they're great people that meant well, but they weren't meant to handle a 1-year-old female American Staffordshire Bull Terrier that has, energy for days, like a fresh pack of new batteries. It's got energy for days. And, even though that it's size-wise, it's like a beagle, but has so much power and strength. It's wow. And the fact that they wanted to take on that challenge, good on them, but it was bad execution. And the fact that, Sassy was neglected for so long, just being caged in, and let out only for feeding purposes, or going out to the bathroom, not being properly socialized, not really taking proper care of her. It was really, really bad. You know what I mean? And at that point, on April the 11th of this year, that's when I took on the mission of actually fostering Sassy, because I didn't want her to be, I didn't want her to be under, possession of the state, or being given away by a humane society, or the SPCA or something like that, not without a fight. Because I definitely believe that every dog has a shot in life, and if they get adopted, they're given another great chance and an opportunity with a loving family and people that will love and care for them in the right way that they deserve. So I took on that mission of adopting her. It definitely came with a lot of challenges, you know what I mean? Because when you are fostering a dog, it's and maybe I might get shot in the foot for saying this, but it's taking on a child, you now have a child, it's that type of equivalency. You can't do anything else that you want to do and not know that you have a dog in your possession that you have to take care of, because now the livelihood and the life of a dog is now in your hands. And I knew that I had to do a lot of things to kind of compensate for a lot of stuff, because Sassy had a lot of separation anxiety issues. She didn't like to be crated. She constantly needed to be around people. There was so much stuff going on that, I don't really want to get too much into it, but it was a lot. It was a lot. And I had to do everything that I had to do to kind of help her to become a little bit more better as a dog, for her to act like a dog and be a dog for once. Every day when I went to work, I brought her with me. just so that she wouldn't be alone, and also for the fact that, you know, if she was in the house where I live, that she wouldn't break stuff and just make a big mess, you know. At least, if anything, she was under my watch directly while I was at work, and it's okay. And if something happened there, I was better equipped for it, you know, so it was all good. And I was also making sure that every day that I was done with work, that I would take her to a nearby dog park in order for her to be a little bit more sociable with other dogs. You know what I mean? Because she had never interacted with other dogs before. Again, she was neglected, and she never really got that chance to have that one-on-one dog interaction or two-on-one dog interaction, and et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward it to yesterday on May the 12th, which is the greatest situation ever possible. Sassy found her forever home. It was great. It was wonderful. I was really glad because, to be honest with you, before this couple agreed and said, yes, we'll take her in, we had two candidates. One, this gentleman that my godparents knew. And God bless him for wanting to be, you know, an adoptive dog parent. But it really wasn't what I thought it would be. And I felt like he really wasn't qualified. Number one, because, you know, his occupation is that he's a full-time educator in the as a teacher in the Washington, D.C. education school systems. Which is already a full-time job as it is, you know, during the day. But then after that, you know, after that day was done, like, you know, let's say like 3 o'clock or 3:30 he was done. He would have to go from there to being a soccer coach, which even takes more time. You know what I mean? And I thought about it like, man, you know, if you're working for all that time and you're also doing, you know, being a soccer coach, which even takes more of your time, by the time that you get back, you know, the day's already done. And you probably had created Sassy for so long that she's starting to have a little bit of resentment. The anxiety of separation kicks in. Something bad could have happened. And I was like, not really. I mean, this guy means well, but I just don't think that he has the proper time to you know, dedicate, you know, towards having a dog, at least specifically of Sassy. Then afterwards, there was like a second person who I know through the local acting film industry, and she was really good. You know, she definitely told me that she wanted to have Sassy as a support dog because of stuff that she goes through with mental health, right? And I've seen dogs like that, support dogs, and it was great. And she had an idea, she had a plan. She wanted to take it to you know, be trained in this area. And if she had that certification with Sassy, she could have brought her anywhere and everywhere that she was at, whether if it was during classes in school or, you know, certain places. She would definitely be around her 24/7, literally, which I thought that was great. And we were going to stick with that. I thought that that was going to be the best option until, you know, she had to forfeit out of the race at the last moment. There was a situation where it was brought to my attention that she was going to be out of the country for like a month, and, you know, for school, you know, because she was doing something that has to, you know, kind of coincide with what she's doing with her education in a university. And because she was going to be gone for a month, I don't think that her parents would have had the time to take care of Sassy, if I remember correctly. So at that point, I was like, well, you know, I hate the fact that, you know, such a good person that was a definite A+ candidate have to withdraw from the race. But, you know, these things happen, you know, so no harm, no foul there. You know, just you have to move on and go through life, right? But then we had the winning home run. my friend Tiffany, who I've known for many years, her husband has a coworker, and I guess what had happened was Tiffany told her husband about, that I'm fostering and I'm looking for Sassy to have, a forever home, because it was getting a little bit out of line. I guess the husband told his coworker, and the coworker was like, "Yo, say less. We are interested. I'm trying to look for a dog, for my family, and for especially with my kids, because I want my kids to have a dog and know the responsibility about what it's like to be a pet owner and so forth." So I talked to this gentleman, and he was really cool. Plenty of dog experience. He loves dogs, and he's been around them for so long. And the fact that, he's willing to step up to the plate to take care of Sassy was good enough for me. So when he said that, I would love to be the one that would take care of him, myself, my children, and my lady, we're going to go ahead and take care of her. At that point, after that discussion, I felt like, man, it was awesome. And yesterday, I met them. Great people. And at that point, we knew that Sassy found her forever home. And it made me think, like, after all this time, for a month and a couple of days, it was challenging, but I saw the benefit, because number one, we found her forever home, but number two, it taught me a lot about responsibility and about making sure that I take care of this dog and do it the right way, and make sure that while under my responsibility and care, that she must be cared for. And it taught me a lot about, the dedication of, at that point, being a temporary dog parent. And I'm happy where Sassy is. I'm really glad. I really would have been sad if I had to surrender her to a humane society or a dog rescue or something like that. That is something that I did not want to happen. But because this gentleman and his family stepped up, Sassy has now found her forever home. And I am so glad. I am so happy. I mean, it definitely made me now realize that it was all worth it. All the time, all the effort, everything that I had to do was worth it. And it's amazing. Going forward, would I ever foster again? Well, I would have to think twice now. I mean, if I can be exactly 100% honest with you, I would have to think twice, because it does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of dedication. And depending on the dog, if it was like a Chihuahua, it would be definitely easier, for sure, 100%, or even like a French Bulldog. But if I had like an American Staffordshire Bull Terrier, or a Pit Bull, or, a Golden Retriever, or a Labrador Retriever, or a Beagle, or something like that, they have a lot of energy, Not that I can't hang, but, I know my style of dogs. I want to have a dog that's laid back. I want a dog that is just, if I'm going to take care of it for a little bit and just be the foster dog parent, cool. But I want it to be a chill dog, just like, I'm not saying like 0% energy, but low enough. You know what I mean? Maybe like one of those dogs, like a bulldog, where it's just a chill dog and it has like no desire to really exercise or anything, and it just wants to be a couch potato. I can deal with that. I can definitely deal with that. For an indoor dog, like what is that dog called? A King Cavalier Spaniel, Cocker Spaniel dog, which is one of the most friendliest dogs in the world. Yeah, I'd adopt. I would definitely foster that. I don't know about adopting, because when you adopt and you're a dog owner, it does require a lot of responsibility, which I honestly feel like I am not fit for that. But to have this experience of being a dog foster taught me a lot. It made me appreciate the situation and the fact that we were able to find Sassy a permanent home. That is the greatest victory. We're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we're going to come back with the second segment of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. So do what you need to do, but come right back. The Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Just put the key in the ignition, and we're about to turn the engine and crank it up. I want to tell you about an amazing store that's really good for all musicians, music enthusiasts, and a whole lot more, which is Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center in Wheaton, Maryland. That's right, you heard it correctly. Since 1958, Chuck Levin's has been actually tearing up the game when it comes to the music scene. And guess what? Since 1958, they have been the store to go to and a must-visit destination for any serious musician passing through our nation's capital. So, if you're actually a person that's in a band looking for a new instrument, such as an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, a bass guitar, or maybe some drums, if you're a DJ looking for like the greatest DJ equipment, such as turntables and so forth, they got you. Hey, are you actually in an orchestra playing a woodwind instrument, brass instrument, or strings? They got you. They got all the classical instruments that you need. And let's not forget, for all my fellow podcasters, need a microphone? They got you. Need a podcasting vocal track recorder? They got you. They got everything, man. And I'm telling you, it's the best place to go. So if you want to check them out, go ahead and do so, because right here at Chuck Levin's, they're the best. Forget the rest. Mess with the best. Located over at 11151 Veers Mill Road in Wheaton, Maryland. They're open Monday through Saturdays, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. If you want to know more about what they have to offer, you can go over to chucklevins.com online or give them a buzz at area code 301-946-8808. Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center. Like I said before, don't worry about the rest. Mess with the best.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
Recently, I found out that there was going to be a karate test, for a lot of our students over at the karate school where I'm a student at. And when I found out about that, I thought it was a real good opportunity to come by for a visit. Not only for the fact to, give a lot of support to the fellow students that were going to be testing for their next rank and their next position, but it was kind of like a way for me to kind of give back. As a black belt, when you attend a test, an examination, you're basically kind of helping out the exam and making sure things go well, and you're giving back. You're giving back to those students like the black belt instructors before you gave back to you, or in this case, to me. And I felt like it was a right thing to do. And it was just one of those things that, okay, yeah, I should be there. I should do my part and to show my love and support. Now, I knew that there were a couple of students that were going to be testing. 4 of them were actually the sons of a past guest on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. If you remember Omar J. Richter, I had him on 3 different separate occasions. Most recently this season, I invited him back. And I know that his sons were testing for some of them for their green belts. One of them was testing for their brown belt. And it was really cool. It was really, really awesome. And I was really jazzed and really excited, just playing my part, just making sure that I was a black belt judge. But before that, just being a good instructor, wishing all the students that were testing, wish them well, and just to tell them to believe in themselves and believe in the process. But I think the most surprising thing that I found out was that one of my fellow black belts, also a senior black belt to me, and also a good friend and a good brother by the name of Andre, was actually testing for his higher degree of black belt. Now, I kind of had to put two and two together, but I wasn't quite sure because at the time, there was a little bit of buzz about that there was going to be a black belt examination. But I just didn't know who it was because, the information wasn't really clear in my opinion. Now, traditionally, when you're notified that you're going to be testing for a higher degree of black belt, the only person that really puts it out there, I think, in my opinion, would be the student that would be testing for that higher degree. There's not really like an official news or anything of that sort out to the public unless that person themselves, whether he or she decides to spill the beans out on social media or something, and then they say, hey, I'm going to be testing for my second degree black belt. For anybody that can come over and check it out. It'll be fun. And when I found out that it was going to be Andre, I was really happy, And to give you a little bit of a history, I knew Andre from many, many years ago. When he first started, I was a black belt already. So I was kind of like already established in that respect. And, years, later, from that point till now, he just stayed dedicated to his training. He was motivated, and he was the type of student that was really hungry. And he even surpassed me. And, when I heard that this was going to be a great opportunity for him, I knew at that point, I was like, yeah, there's even more of a reason why I need to go over to this examination. And I knew something was up when I saw two key people. One of them was one of my senior black belt instructors, who was like someone that I grew up with, who I considered like an older brother, who was a 7th degree black belt. So when I saw him there, I was like, okay, there's something going on here. And then when I saw another person who I've mentioned many a times on this podcast by the name of Grandmaster Mike Warren from Washington, D.C., who trained at the very famous Kim Studio Martial Arts School over in Silver Spring, Maryland, who was taught by the legendary Taekwondo Grandmaster, the late Kim, I was like, okay, something is happening here for sure, because Mr. Warren he never shows up for any of our tests unless it's like the big one, like, the black belt test. So when I heard and saw him there, obviously I wanted to give, my respect, shook his hand, and I bowed, and I gave him a hug, and I told him it was good to see him. But, I just wanted to focus on Andre because I knew that it was going to be his day, and he was the star of the show. Like, he was definitely the main actor on the stage, the biggest name of them all. And I knew before his test on that, that moment, I just asked him, like, hey, man, are you ready to go? Is everything good? And he was like, man, I'll be ready as much as I'll ever will be. But, my love and support was there for him. I just let him know that, I think that he was going to do great, that, we're there rooting for him, and, just do what you got to do. And sure enough, when it was his time, when they called him up, it was quite inspiring to see it, to see him test and do certain demonstrations of what he needed in order to, go through his black belt test. Now, mind you, Andre is in his 50s, but also know that does not stop him. That does not stop him at all. He's a man that is like, hey, as long as I'm walking, I'm, living and I'm breathing and I'm moving, I'm going to keep training, because that's how dedicated that I am as a martial artist and as a person in general. And when you see something like that and you hear something like that, you got to respect it. You got to respect everything that he's done, the hard work that he has, put in order to get into the position where he is now. And it was incredible. Called him on the floor, and I knew it was, as we say in the theater, it's showtime. You know what I mean? Because now the crowd is looking at you. You know what I mean? You just put yourself right on the stage. Everyone's looking at you. The lights on the stage is shining bright, and you're the main attraction. You are the main character of this play that this moment is revolved around, so they want to see how this person portrays the part. And when I saw him do what he did, I was really motivated and I was really proud because, when you see somebody like Andre giving his 100 in everything that he does, it shows that you can do anything and everything that you want in this life. You just got to be hungry and you got to be willing to put in the work. You don't put in the work, you're not going to get the opportunity. When you don't get the opportunity, you're going to keep asking yourself that same question of why am I still stuck in this spot when I should be over on that other spot and being advanced? And to that, the answer is quite simple. Just look in the mirror. The answer is not hard to find. It's pretty obvious. It's all within the self. And the way that Andre did his examination, did what he had to do within the call and the command of the grandmasters that were conducting this test, he did great. He did absolutely great. And looking at Andre, it really put things in perspective for me. It really motivated me. Because, looking at him and seeing what he did, number one, once again, like a broken record, it shows that anyone can do it. You just got to put in the work. And number two, if he's willing to put in the work, then why can't I be willing to put in the work? If he works hard and gets this as his reward, why can't I do the same thing too? And all I know is when the dust settled and everything was said and done, we were looking at a brand new promoted 5th degree black belt. And, the fact that we got to see Mike Warren take that brand new belt and wear it on his waist, and then, as a symbolism of him blessing it and then tying it around Andre, I almost got choked up because I'm like, man, I remember when Mr. Warren did that for my 3rd degree black belt test and, my 1st degree black belt test. When you have somebody like that who is established, give the blessing and then, just maybe give you words of encouragement as soon as he's tying the belt around you, there's no better high than that. And I was really proud, As soon as Andre got that belt, he started shaking the hands of every black belt judge that was there, from the highest rank all the way down to the, 1st degree black belt rank. And, when he came over to me, of course, I gave him a bow and I shook his hand and I gave him a hug. I told him, and I'm not afraid of saying this, I told him that I was very proud of him, that he earned it, and I told him that I love him. I told him that I loved him. Because, he is the type of person, once again, that he's always been there for me, and he's always looked out for my best interests, and he has also played a role of like another older brother. You know what I mean? So when somebody like that, who plays that type of position in your life, who's been nothing more but supportive and shown you love and respect, you got to do that. You got to show him that love and respect back. It is the only way. You know what I mean? And I'm still sitting down right now, just in awe, reliving the moment. And I wish I could have recorded it, but, I feel like, you can't really record information like that, unless it was like your own black belt test. Sure, yeah, you can record all you want, but, other people, nah, that's just how it is. I'm very happy for Andre. I'm very proud of him. And if he was here right now, honestly, I would have no problems in looking him in the face and say, Andre, congratulations, my brother. You worked really hard. You are a man of dedication, and you are a guy that is full of high-level excellence, that's willing to pursue the knowledge of, the martial arts the way that it was taught to us, like how our teacher's instructor taught him. And I would tell him, thank you. Thank you for inspiring me, for helping me to be the martial artist that I'm trying to be, and for giving me your love and support towards me. It's incredible, and I love it, and I appreciate it. And the fact that a person like you that's in my life, I would not trade it for anything in the world. And I can't wait to see what happens next in Andre's journey. What's going to happen? Like, what's going to happen when he tests for that next rank? The higher ranking black belt level of 6th degree. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I know this. I'm definitely going to have a ringside seat for that. I really will. And I hope that, honestly, I really hope that whatever he does in his life going forward, not just in life in general, but also in the martial arts, whatever he does in the martial arts, I hope that he sticks with it in the long run. Earning a position like that is not easy, and it takes a lot of years of hard work and dedication. And because of, what Andre has done, I'm inspired. I'm really inspired, and I want to take myself to that next level. And seeing that how, Andre did it, to me, I feel like, wow, that just tells me one thing, that it's not that hard. Just come in and put in the work. That's it. The rest will follow. But got to put in that work. And I know that I've been slacking off for a little while. But, maybe it's time for me to come back and to revisit that thing. Not like I think that, for me, I probably have stayed a little bit more consistent than I have in quite a while. But just to see Andre do what he did lights that fire, man. Just keeps me on the motivational tip. And I really think that it's time for me to get back to work. And Andre, if you're listening, know, brother, that I'm going to be needing your help to get there. And I hope that you can help me out and give me a little bit of your knowledge to make sure that, my data in my hard drive, in my mainframe of my computer that is the martial arts, does not go corrupted, and that the information won't seep out. We're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, you know what time it is. And I just can't wait to give you that third installment. So do what you need to do, but come right back, because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience will be coming back. We'll be red hot and ready to launch out into the orbit.
In life, we all want to have great health and excellent physical fitness. However, it's never given, only earned. That said, if you want to go to a gym that will help you to get there, then look no further than Kicked Up Fitness at National Business Parkway in Annapolis Junction, Maryland. Their mission at Kicked Up is to provide the ultimate functioning training facility that focuses solely on your success, with a diverse team that's highly qualified and dedicated to taking your fitness goals to the next level. Kicked Up also offers a variety of group classes and personal training programs that provide something for everyone, regardless of your fitness level. They believe in working hard, achieving results, all while having fun. So come visit their facility in person, which is located at 114 National Business Parkway, Suite 100 in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, 20701. Now, if you see my friend Sean Queen, who's the owner of Kicked Up, tell him that Benny Chow of Miscalculated sent you, and he'll hook you up with a complimentary 7-day pass just to try it out. Need more info? Give him a call. 410-888-9066. Email them at kufitnessnbp@gmail.com or visit them at their website at www.kufitnessnbp.com. Kicked Up Fitness. Never given, only earned.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Yes, we're back at it again. The final portion. You know what time it is. So let me just go ahead and jump right into it. That the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is asking for help on a voluntary basis to anyone that would like to assist our podcast show by the ways of sponsorship and or financially donating to the podcast show to help the quality of our podcast and to make it better. Now, any proceeds, all proceeds, or money that we raise will go towards getting better equipment and more equipment, such as, we might need new microphones for our in-studio guests, XLR cables that are required for those mics, headphones for our in-studio guests, and even a MacBook Pro, which is the official computer of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Whenever you hear every episode, it is because the help of the Mac that is actually helping generate a lot of great episodes here and content on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Now, whatever that you can donate, no matter what the amount is, we definitely appreciate it. Insert joke, if you wanted to go ahead and donate $5 million, which I honestly don't think that anyone would, donate, you can do so. And heck, if you even donated that much, we would make you an executive producer. Flat out. You know what I mean? That would be cool. To even as donating $5. Every little bit helps and we would appreciate it. You can make a donation by donating to our following. We have PayPal and Venmo, and you can donate using each and every one of those apps or websites. And just donate to our tag name at KimHoangMDActor@gmail.com. Or I'm sorry, at Kim Hoang MD Actor. Once again, that's at Kim Hoang MD Actor, KimHoang MDACTOR. We also have Cash App, $ Kim Hoang MD Actor. That is once again $ KimHoang MDACTOR. And now the moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen, our Q&A form, question and answer. You ask the questions and we will answer it. Normally we answer 7 questions, but because I'm in a good mood, we do have bonus questions. Because the Q&A weren't available last week or on our last episode, I've decided to increase the bonus questions. So we will now do, for today only, 4 additional bonus questions. Grand total of 11 questions. We need to get to work right now, so let's just go ahead and do it. Question 1, Kim, is it worth it to buy the $49.99 Mortal Kombat Shao Kahn popcorn tin? Lillian from Thousand Oaks, California. Lillian, no, absolutely not. I know what it is. They actually, if you go to any movie theater, depending on where you go, they have these like, souvenir things that you can buy for the Mortal Kombat 2 movie. One of it being a Shao Kahn popcorn tin, where the bottom part is the actual tin where it holds the popcorn, and on the top is the helmet of Shao Kahn that you can actually wear. Only problem is, number one, the size of the helmet will not be able to fit every single head shape and size in the world. So you have to keep that in mind. Number two, I'm not going to pay $50, let's just say, for a souvenir tin that I'm just going to hold popcorn in. Doesn't make sense to me. So I'd rather not do it. It's a waste of money to me. Question number 2, Kim, are you a fan of Kirkland products? Richard from Fisherville, Virginia. Yes, I am, Richard. Now, for those that don't know what Kirkland is, it is the generic company brand that is made from Costco. Just like how Walmart has their own line of generic brand foods and sodas and so forth, and Target has the same thing. That's Kirkland's. I find it that Kirkland's has really good products, even though it's under their flagship brand, at a real good price. I'm a fan of it. I like their stuff. It does save a lot of money, and who wouldn't want to go ahead and buy generic? You know what I mean? I mean, if you aren't the person that likes to save money and you just rather go with the name brand, go for it. But I appreciate good house names, house generic brand names. It doesn't bother me at all. Question number 3, Kim, between the new Mortal Kombat 2 movie that just came out and the upcoming Street Fighter film that's going to be coming out later this year, which one would you like to see in your opinion? Corinne from Lafayette, Louisiana. Corinne, I would definitely want to see the Mortal Kombat 2 movie. I just feel like it was done a lot better. I've heard from a lot of people that the stunts and the fight choreography and the stunt coordination is just a lot more amazing. And a lot of people say that storyline wise, it holds more true to what the intent of the movie should be from the video game. So yeah, because of the fact that it holds truth from video game to movie format, great action, great stunts, a lot of good things other than that I can't even mention right now, but a lot of good things. I rather place it there. No offense to Street Fighter, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good movie, but when you have two wrestlers from the WWE and other people that you never heard of, and just, you're hearing like Fairweather Johnson reports about it, it's not a good for me. I can't do it, so. Question number 4, Kim, what are your thoughts on this year's WWE Backlash 2026? Tito from Brownsville, Texas. Tito, hated it. I think the card was stupid. I thought the results were stupid. The only thing that was good was the Io Sky versus Asuka match. That was the only thing for me that held water, that was really worth my time looking at. Everything else was a total flop. They should have really just made it as a Saturday night's main event type of thing, but that's just my opinion. Question number 5, Kim, if Super Mario Brothers Mario was to fight Link from The Legend of Zelda, who do you think would win that fight? Violet from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. Well, nice. Violet, I definitely think that Link would win. Because of the fact that, he's more trained in the art of combat. He has the magical sword. He's trained to know a couple of magic tricks and spells. To me, he's the complete warrior. Not to say that Mario couldn't do anything, but I think that Mario's a little bit of a one-trick pony. That's just my opinion. All right, question number 6. Kim, being a podcaster that does their own podcast show, what is a pro and what is a con when it comes to being a podcaster? Troy from Greenville, North Carolina. That's a good question. I think the con is that, when I'm doing a podcast, I don't really have a co-host. And it would be really cool to have a co-host, because then I would have somebody that I could kind of relay the message to. It would be like more of a point-counterpoint. And from the perspective of the person that is listening to the podcast, I can understand if they might say something like, man, I just wish that he would have a co-host, so that the dynamic of, the show might be a little bit more interesting, between dialogue between person A and person B. So that's the one con that I have, is that I don't have a co-host to share this thing with. The pro of it is that the fact that I get to do what I do, and I think to certain people, they get really happy and they're just like, wow, this is so great. They compliment your work, and that's why I do it. It's for the people. It's for them. And when they love what you're doing and give you praise and whatnot, it's definitely worth it in my eyes. It's like, man, this is awesome. This is why I'm doing it. This is what it's here for. And I'm really proud of that fact. You know what I'm saying? So that is a major pro for me. That's what I do, and I love it, and I will continue to keep on doing what I do, because if it's touching the lives of people in some way, then I feel like I'm doing my job in a good way. So yeah. All right, question number 7, and then we'll get to the bonus round. Kim, congratulations on your future seminar of stage combat and stunt training basics. But can you please tell people what you will not cover in your seminar, because you already covered what was involved? So what is not involved? Terry Ann from Logan, Utah. Terry Ann, thank you very much. I really appreciate the words of encouragement, the praise and everything. Thank you. It means a lot. We will not cover the following. We will not cover weapon combat. That is something that we're just not doing. And I feel like, that's just something a little bit different than what I'm trying to do right now. We are not going to deal with, how to put together a fight scene, have people do a fight scene in front of you and so forth. We're not doing that. We are not doing gymnastic stuff like flips and tucks and somersaults and double twisting and all that. Just the acrobatic gymnastic stuff, we're not doing that, because that's not that type of crowd. Because what we're doing is that we're providing people with the knowledge of the basic concepts of stage combat and basic stunt work. So that way they're a little bit more prepared to do what is necessary if that arises, if that opportunity presents itself, and whatnot. I don't mind doing another seminar down the road where we're doing fight choreography and putting a fight scene together. I don't mind that whenever that happens, but this is more again, your basic level entry type of stuff, and I hope that people will understand that. I don't want to give them any false hope or expectations that we're going to do this when we're completely not. So I just wanted to kind of put that out in the open, All right, bonus time. I'm ready to go. Question number 8. Kim, do you think that the Baltimore Orioles will make it to the American League playoffs in Major League Baseball? Larry from Crofton, Maryland. Yo, Larry. Crofton, what up? 301, son. I'm hopeful. I think that they could have done it last season. But, they just didn't have that magic touch. They didn't have that chemistry. There was a lot that was going on. This time I feel like, they probably do have a shot, but they really have to keep focused. They have to, make sure that they stay healthy, no injuries, and play like a complete unit. When you can play like a complete unit and everything falls into place, then there should be no reason why you can't make it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is there. All right, question number 9. Kim, is it worth it to buy a cheap karate uniform? Sherry from Durango, Colorado. Sherry, plainly no. It's not worth it. A lot of people say, you buy a cheap uniform because, you just don't want to spend a lot of money. And that's just, at that point, that's the answer to the problem. Yes, that's all and good, but that's a temporary solution. I've bought a uniform from Proforce that ripped up within a week, and I didn't like that. I tried to return it, maybe exchange it for a same uniform or maybe something else. They said no, and I really got ticked off about that. I was really disappointed and ticked off, and I'm like, damn, And never again did I ever go to Proforce, because it's just not meeting the demand of what I need, So if I go with anything, like that might be a level entry, I might get like a student uniform of Century Martial Arts. To me, they're a little bit more durable, more bulletproof, and, Century's been in the game for many, many years, you know what I mean? I think that they've been in the game since, if I remember correctly, I think 1976. So they've had a lot of years of experience in the martial arts industry and, in goods and services. And, it's been proven. I haven't met any uniform that they made that made me think otherwise. You know what I mean? I love their stuff, and I'll stick to it. So that's what it is. Question number 10. Kim, what was the worst interviewing experience from a show / podcast that you were in or you were involved in? It can be anything from your podcast or you being a guest on someone else's. Phil from Caldwell, Idaho. Phil, there was one point I was working with the director, Lee Dahl. And Lee had an idea where he wanted to do an interview with certain people and put it on YouTube. And, I remember that day because that was the day that one of my good friends, Mark, who was in a band called Clear for Takeoff, was the first one, because they were doing like 2 interviews a day. Well, he went first. And yeah, it was just something like, wow, this is pretty cool. I looked at his stuff and I felt like, okay, if I can do the same thing that he's doing, it should be good. So I go in there and I do the interview after Mark, and there's this woman by the name of Kate Jackson who was doing the interview. Now, I thought I was doing pretty good, and they had promised me afterwards that, the interview will be there, it'll be good. And I kept on telling people, like, yo, the interview's coming. It'll be on YouTube. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And it never showed up. And that definitely left a sour taste in my mouth. Like, now I do like Lee, and I think he's a great person. Lee Dahl, I've worked with him on many different projects, movie projects, independent film projects and whatnot. But to actually have me be doing some kind of a video interview or podcast interview and the episode never made it on, I really felt like that was kind of like a real cheap shot, and that really hurt me, and I just thought at that point, like, wow, why did you ask me to do this when you never put my stuff out there? I mean, that really was that really did a number to me, and I never forgot it. And at that point, I just said to myself, I'm going to keep moving and I'm going to keep doing my thing. And I have been ever since. And, at least now in this position where I'm looking at it, that I'm the podcaster, I would never do that to people, If I just didn't want to interview people, they're just not going to be on my show. But if I'm going to interview them, you darn right I'm going to put it out there, and it's going to be exactly how it was. And I'm not going to hold anything back. And, it's going to be a thing where I'm not ashamed of what happened there because I'm very proud of it. But that was a low point. And, at that point, it's like, at this point, it's whatever. I haven't spoken to Lee in a long time. I hope he's doing well. But I just won't forget that moment. I really felt like that was some shiesty stuff right there. That was just not really cool, And I'm not going to hold back my words either. I'm just going to be totally 100, and I'm just going to just keep it moving. So yeah. Last question and we're done. Number 11, Kim, are there any new interviews in the works for your podcast? Mary from Fort Dodge, Iowa. Well, Mary, there is one that I can confirm that will happen. We have come to terms of agreement. There's a person out there that I know that's a friend of mine that I've known for many years, Evan J. Vile. And he was the guitarist for a band called Goldmine Squad, which later was Havoc in Hollywood. He was in another band called Beretta Jane. And then he did his own independent music act stuff that was more country-ish. A lot of people haven't heard from him in quite a while. There was even a time that, Evan was facing some challenges, let's just say. And I felt like it's a story and an interview that really does need to get out there. And, Evan and I, we talked about it. And I told him, look, if you really want to do it, let's just do it on your terms. And you let me know when you're ready. And, he contacted me and he said, yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll. And I'm like, let's run it. I'm good. I love this. Can't wait to see you. It's been years. And yeah, we're going to make it happen. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Hope that was a good one. Catch your boy on a lot of social media pages. Facebook, just look me under the search box. The Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Like it, follow it. Excuse me. I am also on Instagram and on Twitter, now known as X. Look for me under my tag name at TKHPC Experience, all in one word. If you follow me, like me, and so forth, I will follow you back. We are on a lot of podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Please like, follow, and subscribe to my podcast on all of those platforms. Now, do me a favor. If you have Spotify, please give me a 5-star ranking. If you have Apple Podcasts, please give me a 5-star ranking and a positive written review. Because the more times that you actually do that for each of my social medias, then my podcast will be thrown over to the front lines, And then somebody might be like, yo, it's the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. I heard about this because Rachel told me about this. She said I should like, follow, and subscribe to it and spread the news about it. Yes, please do that. We really would appreciate it. Also, do us a favor. Please promote us on any of your social media pages. Again, like the Facebook, the Twitter, now known as the X, Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff. Or share it in person with friends, family members, co-workers, neighbors, etc., etc. Because the more times that you promote it and let people know about us, then we might get a huge following. And when you actually promote us, that's great, because that's called brand awareness. Sharing is caring, you know what I mean? It means a lot. Last but not least, if you want to be a guest host, if you want to be a guest on our show, if you have any questions for our Q&A form, or if you have any constructive criticisms, please email us at the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience at gmail.com. Whatever the subject is on the subject box, you write it on there, and then on the bottom or below that, in the middle of the page, on the body of the page, write out your grievances or situations or, requests or whatnot, and then just send it out. I'll probably get the email. I'll probably get it within that day, and probably respond back within a day or two, because I like that type of communication. I think communication is very important. But that said, guys, that is it. Please be safe out there and make right decisions, because it doesn't do us any good if you do things that you're not supposed to do and you land up being in trouble, in danger. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be happy. We want you to be living life, because, you deserve that. And anybody else that tells you otherwise, that you don't deserve nothing, you can just tell them, go stuff it, or just, give them the middle finger, what have you, because it's all about the positivity, never the negativity, you know what I mean? And, I just want y'all to be safe. Please just don't put yourself in a position where you're going to, get yourself placed in a pine box and get buried 6 feet under. Please just remain safe, be healthy, be happy. Keep on striving for excellence, and keep doing what you need to do in order to get to the top. And just know that we're behind you each and every step of the way. That said, I got to get going, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. So for the one time here, and the place that started it all, for this face, the Asian Sensation Studios, not far from Washington, D.C., it's your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian Sensation, saying thank you. I love you. You are definitely awesome. And we'll definitely check you out on another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. I love y'all. Be good, be safe, be well, and we'll check you on the next one. I'm out, guys. Deuces. Peace.